Dude, I have so much to say, and it's just because I haven't been recording these videos daily, but that doesn't mean I haven't like stopped thinking. I just feel like I have so many thoughts all the time, and they just like accumulate, and I just like need to get them out there because I feel like some of them are like valuable and I want to return to them. But I think I need to really record something every day, like even on the quieter days, just so I don't like miss out on like my thoughts and just having like a easy way for me to record them, um, instead of just like writing them all down, which I don't like doing. But I just feel like the past like few days I've just been consuming so much art, and the thing with that is I just don't like consuming art at like a really fast rate. I used to feel kind of bad about it because I don't know, I think other artists like around me that I respect, like they seem to consume so much art and be able to reference it really quickly, and I think that's really cool. But for me, it's like I just need to consume at a slower rate just because that's how it sticks for me. And like it's like Perlman said, if you learn something quickly, you forget it quickly, and I like never forgot that because it's so true in terms of everything. And just with my art, I feel like if I don't consume art at a slow enough pace, none of it sticks. And then at that point, it's like, what was the point? It's like not affecting me or influencing me in any way. Then it's just kind of empty and like meaningless. And I want to like consume art intentionally. Like I'd rather watch one movie that I think about a lot. Like I just need time to like genuinely like think about what I've just consumed. Like that's the most important thing. I just need time to reflect, honestly. And I feel like I have been trying to prioritize like taking down notes and stuff just so that I can like have that until when I'm ready to film like a little journal video. But that was just because I thought I was gonna be on hiatus, and obviously I don't know. We'll see. I still have thoughts, and I still want to record them. So anyway, I think like a few days have gone by, and some family friends came over, and we showed them Seattle. We showed them like Pike Place, and I was just feeling like I was gonna cry. Like I was feeling so nostalgic and like melancholic because we were like in Pike Place, and I was just kind of feeling like a ghost. Like I was just feeling like I used like on one hand I really missed Seattle. Like I was like, why do you miss Seattle if you're in Seattle? Like I don't know. I was like, oh, I gotta come back here. I gotta stay here. But then at the other hand, I was like, this is a ghost town to me. All of my friends have moved away. Like they don't live here anymore. I don't even live here anymore. Like that was just how I was feeling, and I was just feeling really sad because I have a really complicated relationship with like Seattle. I feel like I hold like so much emotion and like idea. I have like there's just so much importance on location for me, like wherever I am physically. Like it just completely influences how I feel, how I think, what I do. And I just feel like Seattle is just not a great place for me in terms of that. Like the weather, like I don't know. I have a lot of like complicated memories in Seattle, and I just don't think that I this is the best place for me to be right now. And it is kind of a ghost town with like not very many of my friends still here, and the ones that are still here are probably gonna leave eventually. Like, and they tell me that, so I don't know. It's kind of I just don't think I can like stay here. I like gotta get out. Like I can't stay in Seattle. Like I gotta leave. I gotta see something else. I just feel like I kind of lack like a home base, like a community, like a genuine sense of community since undergrad. I don't really feel like I fit in any specific place yet. And I'm just hoping that like one day I can like meet other creatives that like to make similar stuff to me or just like my style and I like theirs, like and we can collaborate, or like that would be such a dream. Or even just like meeting cool people at like school or like work or anything. Just like I just feel like I don't really have that right now, and there's reasons for that. I think that like I have to be a little bit more private about what I'm building, which makes it hard for me to like fully connect to new people that I meet. because I can't just like tell them like the height of my ambitions, because I just don't. I think that's a kind of a distraction from my work, honestly, to talk about the work before I've done it. Like, I only feel comfortable talking about work that I've already done, because, like, imagine like saying you're an actor but you haven't acted in anything yet, and then talking about it is kind of a distraction from the fact that you need to start acting in something. Like, you know what I mean? Or like, but like for me, like as a musician, like I made music, like I can show people my music, so I feel comfortable talking to people about that. But like my like things that are more newer for me, like releasing music in this new direction that I'm going in, like I feel like I need to finish making it before I can like talk about it and stuff. So that's kind of how I feel about like why I'm a little bit more introverted in when I'm in California, and haven't really made like best friends yet. I think I'm just been a little more quieter and just like observing, and eventually I will find people that I can show what I'm building to, and that, that I feel like comfortable and safe doing that. But it kind of takes like a while. But my friends in Seattle, I still keep in touch with them and let them know about everything. Like, I think the best part about Seattle was all the amazing friends I made. It just kind of sucks that they're not there anymore. So that's why it feels like a ghost town and I gotta get out. I don't know. It's just. Anyway, I also was really hesitant to like not want to talk about like other people's art on the journals, just because I didn't want to turn into like a music critic or film critic or any type of critic. I don't want to do that. I don't know, like as an artist, like I feel like criticizing other people's work is so unfair. Like I think that that's so unfair. Like I know how much effort it takes to make anything, literally anything at all. And so I'm like, why would I jump to critique someone else? Like, why would I jump to hate on them? Especially when they can't defend themselves. Like, I feel like if you're gonna hate on someone, like, do it to their face so they can, like, defend themselves or even say sorry or, like, anything. Like, I don't believe in shit talking people. I don't understand why people do that. I understand why people do that. Okay, sometimes people actually do shitty things. But at the same time, like, if you're gonna talk shit about them, at least do it to their face first and see what they say about it? Anyway, I was really hesitant to, like, talk about other people's art and stuff. But now I'm kind of realizing, like, it's kind of hard to, like, be an artist and not do that. Like, you kind of have to do that. You have to form opinions, and sometimes those opinions are gonna be, like, it wasn't for me? But anyway, I feel like I want to talk about some of the art I have consumed recently. I went to, I think, Ilaiyaraaja. I think, wait, let me check. Yes, I went to Ilaiyaraaja's concert with um, some family, and it was very good. It was very good. This is the guy, like, my favorite film composer of all time is A.R. Rahman, and this is, like, the guy who came before him. He's, like, if A.R. Rahman is, like, the Hans Zimmer of India, then, like, of Indian film music, then this guy is, like, I don't know, like, something like Sondheim. Like, well, isn't Sondheim theater? I don't know who came before. Because I think sometimes a better comparison, because even though it is theater, like that's kind of what Ilaiyaraaja is doing. Like he's making like the instrumentals to vocal tracks. Who is Sondheim again? Sondheim makes the lyrics, right? Okay, wait a second. Who is Sondheim? Yes. Okay. If if A.R. Rahman is like Hans Zimmer to America, then like, or is like the Indian Hans Zimmer, then Ilaiyaraaja is probably like the Indian Sondheim. Like he was from, and also like kind of the mentor of A.R. Rahman, like the film composer who came before him. But at that time, like obviously And still today, because of Bollywood, like Bollywood had like the music with the lyrics in it and the dancing and the singing, like it was every movie was like a musical. So I feel like Sondheim is a good comparison. But yeah, he made the music for thousands of movies, like legend. And I was feeling kind of jealous because I was like, bro, I move way too slow to ever do something like that. But it's okay. Like I don't think being I really envy artists who are so prolific. Like I think it's I don't think it's for me. I just feel like there's like two ways to be the best. There's like if you it's to be super prolific, like you make so much art that you have just stumbled upon greatness as a byproduct, like a as like a you will absolutely stumble upon greatness because you just make way too much stuff, you know? You just make so much that you're just gonna come across something new. And then the other way is to just be so extremely and or also like you've just made so much stuff that you've built a legacy through making so much stuff, which is still good. Like that's still not easy to do. And the second way is just through building a legacy off of like extremely intentional like a few works of art, like Frank Ocean or something. Like you only have like a couple works of art, but they're very good, and you worked really hard on them. Like anyway, I think I have to go on the second path because I don't have the capacity to be that prolific. I overthink my work way too much to do that. But anyway, he would talk about like the backstories about his music and stuff, and it was really cute. I also realized, and he would talk about all of it in Tamil. I realized that when someone speaks in Tamil for longer than like 3 sentences, I like check out, like my eyes glaze over. Like I never realized this about myself, and this is probably why I don't understand Tamil. Apparently, when someone's speaking another language, you're not supposed to check out. Like, you're supposed to focus extra hard. Like, that's how you learn. What was I thinking? I don't know why I'm like this. I didn't realize that until then, but I literally, like, I barely understand Tamil, and he would speak a bunch of Tamil. But my mom summarized it for me. She told me about how he came from really humble beginnings, like, really humble beginnings, and he worked really hard to make whatever he had last enough for him to level up and keep leveling up. And I just think that's really beautiful. And like the biggest thing is like when you have hurdles in life, you just need to be empowered enough to overcome them. Like you are the only person that's going to get you out of your hurdles. Like you really have to rely on yourself. I tried to write it down because I don't know, my mom was just giving me all this like amazing advice based off like what he kind of said. um yeah, money and people may not always be there for you. Whatever you want to do, you have to do it alone. And as you move up in your career, there will be more and more problems. The higher you go up, you have to be mentally strong. So, yeah, but and you have to be willing to suffer any hardships that come with trying to follow your dreams. Like you have to be willing to endure. But anyway, I at the start of the Ilaiyaraaja concert, they started playing religious music, like carnatic music. And for me, like it makes me like I think that carnatic and hindustani music just has such a profound impact on me. Like they start all the concerts with the religious music apparently. That's what they were telling me. But it just like makes me emotional because it's so moving. Like I'm like about to ascend when and the singer was so passionate. Like I just really gotta like I need to start learning Hindustani. I studied like Carnatic singing for like I don't know 11 or 12 years, but then I like heard this performance by this Hindustani singer at like a local like temple, and it was so moving. Like I it was so moving that I was like, I gotta learn Hindustani now. Like I can't, I feel like Carnatic music is like very moving with MS Lakshmi, like being just even my brother who's like he doesn't really like Carnatic music because he doesn't like all the gamagas and the it for some people it can rub them the wrong way because the voice sounds really shaky and stuff, but even he is like MS Lakshmi though is still good. Like she sounds really good. It's she's so good, and especially her and that guy who sang Hindustani, I was just like, I gotta learn Hindustani because I want to be able to do that. And I don't think it's that different from carnatic. Like, I don't think it would be that much harder to start learning that, and I just need to start practicing it, honestly, because the way he kind of framed it was like, he kind of explained it to me, like how it worked. And I also just, I just think that like all of the like India's music that's mainstream comes from film because of Bollywood. Like, all the movies are musicals, you know? And that music from the films has a lot of inspiration from the classical music of India, which is Carnatic music, and Hindustani music, which is more from North India, is Hindustani. And so like watching the Ilaiyaraaja concert, I could see this like inspiration being like drawn. I also saw a lot of like this was the music of like the 70s and the 80s. I could see like Western 70s and 80s like rock influence in his music a lot. Like I was like like he's drawing from the West, and he does it in such a way that's tasteful. Like, it still sounds good. I'm like, because I don't know. I feel like I kind of feel like a lot of maybe the more modern scores in the Bollywood don't feel so tasteful when they draw from the West, like especially like from rap. I think A.R. Rahman does it very tastefully, but like not all of them are tasteful in the like I think the 2010s I kind of checked out a little bit of like what was going on with Bollywood because I was like I don't like this as much as I love the 2000s though, like they, and some of the songs are still so good that I like kind of excuse some of the like cultural appropriation. It's just a thing. Like we draw influence from the West draws influence from us, you know. But I feel like the way he drew influence was very tasteful from the West, and he would talk about that. He'd talk about like I think he said something about like he introduced the oboe in one of his songs, and he wasn't sure if people would like it because all of the songs, you know, at the time he was using Indian instruments, and he introduced like some Western instruments and like stuff like that, and people were into it. They were still into it because music is just music. Like, I wouldn't have even been that concerned. But like, I guess it is. I guess it was pretty shocking at the time because India has hella instruments. I was going through Swar Plug. I'm like, dude, I don't even. This is so much. Like, I don't know how to use all of these. Like, I've only heard of like a couple of these, but dude, India has so many instruments, and just but to be honest, this guy Ilaiyaraaja has like thousands of films. No, wait, no, maybe like 1,500-ish films that he's like done the score for, and I feel like after the religious music was done, oh man, I love the religious music, but the rest was starting to feel a little bit homogenous. Like, he did stick to the same kind of instrumentations for a lot of it. He'd throw in new instruments like guitar or something every now and then, but like for the most part, it was like if you didn't like the main thing was like, also Ilaiyaraaja. I don't listen to Ilaiyaraaja on Spotify. Let's start there. But growing up with like, like my parents would put on like Tamil TV on and just like leave that on in the background when I was growing up, and just like kind of growing up with like I don't know Sun TV on. Like, somehow I recognized a bunch of the songs that Ilaiyaraaja had was playing. Like, I recognize those songs. I don't listen to those songs. They're just there's just like so much like cultural impact of his music even in the like 2000s and 2010s when we were playing that kind of Tamil TV on the TV just passively, and I would hear it, you know. I wasn't expecting to recognize anything. My family just invited me to a concert. I say yes because it's music. Like, why would I say no? Like, anyway, it was really cool to like see like that even I recognize some stuff, and I don't know. I just wasn't expecting that. I guess they just play those songs like passively in or some on something on that TV. I don't even remember. Like, I can't trace it back to anything, but I still recognize it. You know. Anyway, okay. Let's see what. I tried to take notes because I was just feeling like I was getting all these thoughts and stuff, and I was like, I don't want to forget this. Like, I want to remember these thoughts and see if it can like help me in the future when I'm trying to make my own music. But yeah, I think let's see. Also, I think maybe I was like hating on the appropriation earlier, but no, I think that the film music is getting better. I just haven't listened to it for a long time. I've just been kind of like a purist when I only listen to like 2000s and 2010s Tamil music that I can recognize, but I do think it's getting better. I think that film music in it is actually getting better. I tend to, I feel like Bollywood still kind of, I just feel like there was, I think that I'm still very sensitive to like sexism just as a concept. And I feel like there's still a lot of that. And that's why I'm very like hesitant to like watch a lot of Bollywood movies from today or like from ever, except for like very classic films and any movie that has Aishwarya Rai in it, because I just feel like she never took on sexist roles. Like, I don't know, like people knew you couldn't disrespect Miss World. I don't know, or the way she did it, it didn't feel very sexist to me somehow. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but like the way the roles that she would choose or the way she would act those roles, it just didn't feel sexist. Like it didn't necessarily feel empowering. I guess maybe it did. Like I'm thinking about like Tal, which the music is so good. And here's the thing is like you can play and um Devdas is like the most, oh Devdas is so good because you can clearly see like there's like this is a sexist world that she's living in, but she's playing a very empowered female character. Sadly, it was at the expense of like a really weak male character. I don't know if it was at the expense, but it was like how weak his character was just made her character just look a lot stronger. Anyway, oh, I really hope my camcorder doesn't die. We're gonna have to go through this quickly. Oh, what I was trying to say earlier with the inspiration from carnatic music and Hindustani is they would do alapanas where they would just sing for they would just sing like one syllable, like one like a sound or something like that. No words. They would just sing on that one syllable for like 10 minutes. Like just to help you like ascend, like to meditate like that. This is the point and it sounds so good. And I feel like in the Indian popular music from the 70s, 80s, from the Ilaiyaraaja concert, I could just tell, like, even though because I couldn't understand the lyrics very well, I could tell like they clearly weren't singing lyrics for like parts of the song. When I feel like in Western music, they very much is like it's lyrics the whole song. Like it's not, they would do a lot of like interesting things, like texturally with the voice and like what's the word? They would just like sing parts of a word over and over again, like rhythmically with the voice. They would do a lot of stuff rhythmically with the voice. And this is also just kind of like inspired from the classical music of that era, but also Carnatic music. You would dance Bharatanatyam to Carnatic music, and I did that for 10 years too. I did Bharatanatyam dance for 10 years, and they would have the fully rhythmic syllables. And if you don't if you don't know the language or anything, you would think all those rhythmic syllables are words when you're dancing Bharatanatyam and you're doing something like a tilana or something, but it's all rhythmic syllables. And I feel like India's just more willing to just throw in rhythmic syllables into the song. And I kind of noticed that actually in one of Camila Cabello's album. She has a song called He Knows with the other guy, Lil Nas X, and he in his part of the song he just like throws in like syllables and stuff. He's not even singing words for part of that song, and I really liked it. Like it sounded really good. And I'm like, people don't do this enough. Like they gotta it's just for the vibes. Like it's not, you know. And that's a goated album by Camilo Cabello, by the way. From the second it came out, like it's starting to get its flowers now. But CXOXO is a really good album. That's all I have to say. Like, that's a really good album, and people did not appreciate it when it came out enough. I think it was just because like Charlie XCX was popping up and everyone was thinking she was copying her, which she wasn't. But I digress. I digress. Anyway, but yeah, that's just something that I wanted to note. Also, I really the reason I could tell there was a lot of like Western, like 70s, like rock influence was because of the drums. The drums are the most like indicative of genre and culture and like region of the world. Like objectively, drums are the most. And I didn't really realize that until like after I bought Electro by Toto Audio, and that's why I was like, oh, this was such an impulse purchase. Like, what? Because I was like, I think I just bought myself into a very specific like subculture and culture and like I think it was just like 70s like retro. Like I still need to figure out what I bought. But like honestly, it's not a big deal because it's not just the instrumentation of the drums, it's also the like rhythmic pattern of the drums that really indicates like what culture it's from. Like is it from like, North India Bollywood, or is it from like Africa, or is it from like Brazil or Mexico? Like you can tell just from the pattern of the drums. There's certain patterns that are just very like specific to specific regions. And then it's also like the instrumentation of the drums. Like is it like a soul-fi kit, or is it like electronic, or is it like what like are you using tabla like Indian drums? Like it's the most indicative, more so than I feel like any other instrument or what chords are playing or any of that. Like I think it's the drums. The drums tell you where the music is from 100%. And I don't know. I didn't really want to commit to any specific culture or anything with my drum patterns, but I still need to figure that out because the truth is like you can't really ignore it. So I'm still thinking about it. But electro is not going to waste. I will be using it in my music for sure, for sure. So anyway, let's see. What else did I took just some notes, but on the concert and yeah, okay. Also, I watched the Odyssey, and hopefully I can like I am gonna talk about it. It was really good. I thought it was good. I just noticed a lot of things, and I just had to write it down. The cinematography was really good with how they did the fight scenes. They did the like blurring in and out, like going in and out of focus, and normally that's like never in a mainstream movie do you ever do that. Illegal, never. But he did it so well in the fight scenes because it really made you like feel like you're in it, like you're really fighting, because that seems more realistic, you know? And I feel like in fight scenes, I normally check out when the fight scene is too long because it just, I'm just like, they're fighting, like, what, you know? You know, but in this movie, I never checked out. Like, I really felt like I was in it, like, I was really in it. Also, like, everybody was trying to watch this movie, like, we were in IMAX theater, that we had to get our seats kind of close to the screen, and I actually really liked that for this movie, like because for like you would have to like turn your head to see the both sides of the screen, and that was really cool to me actually. I thought it was I thought that was really fitting for this movie, but anyway, he never did in the fight scenes a wide shot. They usually always do wide shots in the fight scene so you could see what's going on. But because he didn't do that, it was like the fight scene was more like we're like the vibe of fighting rather than like this is objectively what's happening in the fight. And it's more realistic for like if you're actually fighting with someone, like you don't have a wide shot view of what's going on. Sometimes you just get hit and you're like, oh my god, like you don't notice right away. So anyway, I thought that was so smart. That was so smart, and I would definitely do that in the future for my fight scenes. Like that was probably my biggest takeaway. I was like, this like in and out of focus thing, I am like eating this up. Like this is so cool. I just hadn't seen. I don't feel like I've really seen it like used in like a fight scene before, because normally fight scene movies are kind of mainstream and they do the wide shot stuff. Like they do the whole like this is what's happening. Like mainstream movies tend to be more like objective in POV rather than subjective. Also, I noticed that this movie was very subjective in POV, and I didn't really notice that about like I feel like Batman: The Dark Knight, Nolan did that one too, and it was more objective. Honestly, it was more objective in POV rather than like a really subjective POV. But this movie followed like one character very closely, and I feel like I do wish like they had explored the other characters more. They seemed kind of all shallow, just because that's kind of the risk you run when you follow the narrative so closely on one character. Is like other people's motives are a little bit more confusing all of a sudden because you don't know, you don't see enough of it. But I feel like I kind of wish I'd like seen more of other characters, but I understand like it is really important to focus the narrative on one character, because a movie's not actually that much time to focus on too many characters. Then it starts to like, then it doesn't, then that's another problem, you know. So that was one thing. I mean, we read the Odyssey in ninth grade. Our teacher made us read the whole thing, and I remember we had to write an essay on it, and my essay's thesis was on how the epithets in um, the Odyssey were all sexist for women, because the women were usually always described either by their beauty or just by what man they were related to, but the men had more cooler epithets, and I did really well on that essay, probably because I could low-key just ignore like the whole story to write that essay and just focus on that, and that probably helped me because I didn't like get any like, I didn't get marked down for any misinterpretations of the story or like any like incongruencies in my narrative or something. But I mean, I mean the Odyssey, like as a book, it's like more objective, like this is what happened, but the movie is more like this is what happened to him, you know. So this is how he sees it, and I thought that it was pretty cool that he like that Nolan interpreted the story to be that the main character is very flawed. Like I thought that was pretty cool. It kind of like shows how like men have like evolved over time to like, you know, kind of understand morality. Like maybe it's not cool to disappear for 7 years with Calypso when your wife and your kingdom are waiting for you behind. Like maybe, you know, but at the same time, he wasn't like a true flawed character. Like he was still like a character that you respected and were like thought as aspirational. Feel like there's a range with it. There's like true hero like Avatar, like the dad in Avatar, like, you know, you're following him, you're rooting for him, you're like, this guy is a good guy, I stand behind this guy. And then there's like a Nolan type hero, like I think Batman the Dark Knight, where you're like, okay, I can see some cracks in Batman. Like he's not perfect, but he's still Batman. Like, you know, that's and same thing with like Odysseus in the Odyssey. And then there's like going off the deep end, like art house indie drama where the main character only makes mistakes, and you're like, I'm sorry, man, I can't back you, but it's like watching a train crash. Like I can't look away, you know. So I don't know. At first I was like, oh man, we can employ characters in mainstream movies, like it's over, like we're back, it's gonna start. I was like, it's gonna swing to the other pendulum. Like whenever things go too far in one direction, it swings to the other pendulum. But I think that this is just like Nolan in specific. Like I think he likes to have like a slightly flawed character who's like, actually, maybe war is bad. Like I don't know, like Odysseus realizing that in the end of the movie, like maybe war is bad, you know? Like having, but at the same time, like he's still a great leader and these kinds of things, and he's still seen as a great leader. He's still like trying to keep up with the similar narrative of Odyssey being the hero, or Odysseus being the hero, and that it's like a hero's journey. But yeah, also Göransson's score, really really good. Göransson, I'm always so impressed with him. He's just doing really great stuff. I completely agree with the decision to not have any orchestral instruments like violins in the score. It's honestly what I would have done too. Like, honestly, if it just felt so much more authentic to not have that kind of stuff, because, like, when you come up with a score for a movie, like, you need to choose instruments that are native to that movie or that are representative of the culture that the movie is trying to represent, you know? So, like, if the movie center is around, you know, rock music a bunch, it's gonna have rock music from that era, and the instrumentation needs to follow. Like, it's the same thing with this type of movie centered on the Odyssey. And I just thought it was so good. It felt really, really immersive. It felt really, like, it felt very primal, and, like, just all the fight scenes, like, I was just really on the edge of my seat. Like, I just thought it was so good, and his scores are so good, and he does so much research for them, and he puts so much, like, energy into them, and it just kind of makes me, I'm just kind of realize, like, listening to a really good score, I was like, you know, if you want to be the best, you gotta be the best. Like, in order to be the best, you gotta be the best. Like, to be the best, you gotta be the best. Like, that's the only way. Like, you you have to hold yourself to that standard. You have to work that hard. You have to like put in that effort. If you want to be the best, you got to be the best. Like you don't like there's obviously I was kind of thinking earlier like what if you just, you know, try? Like what if you just get started and you just start doing things and stuff? But for me, I feel like nah, I don't fail in public. Like I don't like I am going to like I'm going to try a lot, but like obviously what I'm going to display is going to be stuff that I feel I'm really proud of, or at least really proud of in that moment. Maybe in the future I might be like, we've evolved, you know. Artists can get better over time, but I just feel like I just feel like, you know, you can like clearly see when someone's put a lot of effort into it, like the way he used like organic sounds that were authentic to that score, even though it would have been like harder. Like he genuinely tries, like with the Black Panther soundtrack, like he did so much research for that. Like I just respect him so much. I think he's so good. I think he's so good, and yeah, happy for all of him, for all of his success. Like he deserves it. So yeah. What else did I say? Yeah, I mean, I wanted to make my movie centered around like extremely flawed characters, and I was worried like if all the mainstream movies start centering like extremely flawed characters, the pendulum's gonna move in the other direction, and we're gonna want to see more aspirational characters. But I don't think one I don't think it's gonna move in the other direction yet. This is just kind of how things work, you know. But I don't think it's gonna move in the other direction yet. Okay, let's see. Um. Oh yeah, and then my mom was telling me about like with the bow thing, about like being able to string the bow. They have the same thing in the Ramayana and in the Mahabharata, which is kind of like the Odyssey of India. Like in the Ramayana, it's like what I think she told me, it's there's a bunch of suitors and none of them could even lift the bow to begin with, but Sita, the girl, could lift it as a kid. I didn't know that, but my mom told me. And then Rama comes over and then he lifts it and then he's trying to string it and he breaks the bow. So they're like, okay, you can marry the girl because you're the only one who could even lift it to begin with. But I'm like, but he broke it. Like that was like an important artifact. But okay, but he gets the girl, and then I think Mahabharata is Arjuna. He has to like shoot the arrow from a really high distance, specifically on like a fish that's like moving really fast in water, and Arjuna's the only guy who can do it. So it's kind of a similar thing. It's just in that time people only had bows like across the world. My mom thought that was so interesting. She's like, even across the world, like everyone has bows, you know. So like everyone's like thinking of the same technologies, you know, but they're also thinking of the same stories. So clear with this like bow thing of like the with the suitors trying to string the bow and only one person can do it. Like it's kind of interesting. But yeah, okay, these are all my thoughts. Also, I think my reference journal is just gonna turn into like me listing out references. I just want to be able to reference them when I need to. I just feel like I don't want to be consuming art at a rate where I can't remember all of it or even most of it. That's too fast for me. I just need time to like really sit with it and think about it. So, yeah. That's kind of how I'm moving. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. I will go through this and just to help me like kind of cement my thoughts and like remember my thoughts. And I do think I should record something every day, like even if it's just a few words, even if I don't feel like I have anything important to say. Just because it helps me like I feel like once I've recorded my thoughts, it like helps me make space for new thoughts because otherwise I just kind of get in my own head trying to like repeat them and like keep them remembered. But when I know that it's recorded, it's like I feel free to like let it go and be like, okay, it's cemented, you know? But writing it down takes too much time. And I don't actually like reading through it as much as like watching it back or listening to it back. But yeah. Also, I bought Dracula and I really want to read that. Ever since I read Rolling in the Deep and Into the Drowning Deep, I'm like, horror is my new favorite genre to read. I like don't like horror movies because they just don't scare me, because I just see through all the effects. Like, as a filmmaker, like, I know they put a scary sound. Like, I know that, like, even from an actor's perspective, from a cinematography perspective, like, from a director's perspective, like, from a story perspective mainly, like, and I feel like horror kind of devolved for a while where it was just, the stories didn't have meaning. The horror is such a good storytelling device. Like, that's why I liked horror so much, because I was like, this means so much more than just the scary, like, gimmicks and stuff. And I feel like maybe like horror movies until recently, it was like just about getting a quick scare, and it wasn't about like, what is the point of this movie, like, why is this scary? And also for me, like, and what I was trying to say is like, books genuinely do focus on the themes and like, why does this matter? Like, The Shining is a book about domestic violence, alcoholism, and how it destroys a family, like, these kinds of things. Like, it genuinely, and also about like systemic racism a little bit, with how the hotel was built on an ancient burial ground. Like, these themes were genuinely explored in the book, you know, more so than any horror, you know. And I just think that that's really important to me if I were to ever make like a horror movie. It like needs to mean, honestly, anything that I make needs to mean something. That's why I start with the lyrics before I even touch production. It's like, because it just helps me. I need to have a reason to make a song to begin with, like that, you know, that having a reason being like, oh, it's just for fun, is totally fine. Like, I just want to make uplifting music, like, that's totally fine. But like, I just don't think I'm trying to operate like that right now, per se. Like, I'm just trying to be very specific right now because I'm just starting out. Like, I have to be very intentional with all of my work because I'm just starting out. And then maybe once I hit like a certain speed bump, I can just like go for it and be prolific one day. But yeah, okay, I had a huge deviation. I don't even remember what I was talking about before. I was talking about horror and horror movies. But yeah, I love horror as a genre. I really want to like read more horror and get more into it because I kind of neglected it before. I think maybe sometimes horror books can also tend to fall into that trap of like, just trying to get like a scare or something. I'm not into that. Like, I'm more into like, why is this scary, and like, what are the themes, and it's just a really good storytelling device, and I feel like people aren't like using it like that. Always in the horror genre. Okay, my camera's gonna die. I gotta end the video.